You're gonna be okay, okay? You're gonna be okay. They're transporting him. They're transporting him to the hospital.
Also, 623 and 515, 14, 911, go 370 minutes.
This driver's experiencing a major case of shock after being involved in a traffic accident only moments before this body cam was recorded. The accident left one man fighting for his life after he was knocked off his scooter while crossing the road and then dragged under the wheels of the SUV. The driver claimed it was an accident, but witnesses tell a different story, and police need to discover if this was an unavoidable tragedy or whether driver error was to blame.
Right
This
there.
one, okay. What happened?
The light turned green. I went to make a left. I looked this way to make
left
sure.
from up there?
there.
Okay.
I looked this way to make sure that there were no cars coming, and I guess he was crossing the street.
First thing I saw was the Escalade, and then my husband yelling, oh my God, and then you saw something underneath it.
Stop, stop, stop. Once the impact hit, I was beeping at her, like stop, stop, stop. Hit him. He kept on going. Ran over him with the front tires. I saw his legs twist, his arm, his head underneath one of the tires.
Before we begin, allow us to express our deepest condolences to the family and friends of Daniel Bishop and anyone else affected by this heartbreaking case. Coral Gables is a city in Miami-Dade County, Florida. It is regarded as something of a paradise and is renowned for its warm climate and invigorating nightlife. It's famous for its Miracle Mile, a street packed with shopping outlets, cafes, and various attractions. The area is also a hot spot for golf, attracting large numbers of players to its courses year-round. March 4th, 2024 was just like any other sunny, warm day on a Monday morning in Coral Gables. But an incident at the corner of Altera Avenue and Lejeune Road would turn this paradise into something much more tragic. It was around 10:55 a.m. when police dispatch received a 911 call about a traffic accident that had left one person seriously injured, and officers from the Coral Gables Police Department were on the scene in less than 90 seconds. When they arrived, they found the victim was bleeding heavily and in serious danger.
Do you see the accident at all?
I did. I just showed up.
Okay, he's gonna go.
The victim, 22-year-old Daniel Bishop, was a promising young man who had a bright future ahead of him. He was in his senior year at the University of Miami, where he was studying mathematics and psychology. Daniel was described as a brilliant student, a compassionate human being, and popular on campus, where he would participate in various activities and charitable events. But Daniel was lucky to be in Miami studying at all. After 6 years earlier, he had been involved in an incident while studying at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in nearby Parkland, Florida.
Possible shots fired at Stoneman Douglas High School.
This morning, chilling images and 911 calls from the Parkland massacre, painting a timeline of terror. 19-year-old Nicholas Cruz seen here loading an AR-15 in the hallway of Stoneman Douglas High School as a frightened freshman walks past. The Sun-Sentinel reporting that according to that freshman, Cruz telling him, "You'd better get out of here, things are gonna start getting messy." Moments later, Cruz killing 17 students and staff.
Daniel had managed to walk away from that terrifying ordeal unharmed, but a cruel twist of fate would have him facing tragedy again as first responders tried desperately to save his life.
He's a student.
9, yeah.
9 to 9. Have the school board respond as well and block off completely southbound at Bird Road. Did anybody witness this? You witness it?
I was driving.
Oh, where's your car at?
Right
This
there.
one? Okay.
That's 38-year-old Veronica de la Vega. She wasn't just a witness, she was the driver of the black Cadillac Escalade involved in the accident. Veronica is an attorney and a former assistant public defender in Miami-Dade County, Florida, where she served for over a decade. She's also married to one of the biggest realtors in Miami, Daniel de la Vega, who has built one of the most successful property companies in the area. That was her husband's SUV that she was driving at the time, and it was clear from the start that she was suffering some kind of shock.
the light turned green. I went to make a left. I looked this way to make
left
sure
from Altera?
there.
Okay.
I looked this way to make sure that there were no cars coming, and I guess he was crossing the street.
All right, let me get you. Have your driver's license? You okay? You want to sit down? You want water?
I feel like I'm gonna throw
All
up.
right, have a seat right here in the shade, okay? You don't want to be looking at this. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Have a seat.
While Veronica was being comforted by one officer, medical professionals were desperately trying to keep Daniel alive. But he had already lost a lot of blood and his condition was deteriorating by the second. With Daniel in the best possible hands, officers were left with the task of finding out if this was a tragic accident or whether there were other circumstances to be taken into account.
What's going on?
What happened? Okay,
I was the first car at the light. The light turned green.
You had the green light?
I had the green light. I was making a left. I looked this way to make sure that no cars were coming, and I didn't see him. And then I heard something.
You said that you were at the light. Were you coming this way?
I was at this light right here, looking
Right here.
at this.
You wanted to go south on the June.
Correct. I was making a left.
Where did you see him? Where was he coming from?
I didn't see him.
You didn't see where he...
I didn't see where he was. I'm assuming he was coming from this way.
Probably crossing
the
okay.
street because I was looking that way to make sure that there were no cars coming.
Okay.
And then I heard that I hit someone. Like I did. I was just trying to get out. Oh my God.
It's okay. I know. It's okay.
Oh, my husband.
Did you call him? You want to call him? Give me a second, okay?
With an investigation to take care of, officers from the Coral Gables Police Department had to secure the area and make sure that no one disturbed the scene. Although the incident was caught on surveillance cameras, it was from a distance, so eyewitnesses would be crucial in piecing this accident together. Sadly, Daniel did not survive his ordeal. His injuries were just too much for him to recover, and despite the best efforts of first responders, he was pronounced dead at the scene. What started as a traffic accident has now become a traffic homicide.
You're gonna be okay, okay? You're gonna be okay. They're transporting him. They're transporting him to the hospital.
Also, 623 and 105, 14, 911, 370 minutes.
I know from seafood. Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Where's your husband coming from?
Yeah, the AC on.
14, 911, 370 Menorca.
You want to get water or anything here? Some water. Your water. You're just coming from the gym over here?
Hey, I'm gonna mute. You guys recording? I'm gonna mute real quick.
It's a student?
Yeah. 45? Yeah.
Student, bro. You know they're gonna need a living to start traveling that way.
She's a parent at St. Thomas. She's going crazy, waiting for us.
What do we know so far? Is it a student?
He's a student? Yeah. They've got a post, but they're not gonna be able to.
What happened there?
It looked to me, she was making a left turn here. She got the green light, made a left turn. She probably left one of the gyms here, and then he must have been crossing this way.
She's a mom for I know her.
Right there. He was the first on scene. He has a phone. He has a phone. I don't know if you guys want to go through his book bag to look up his ID.
But this was not an isolated incident in Coral Gables, and the problem was getting worse.
Down to a catastrophic crash here in Coral Gables. A pedestrian pinned up against a wall after a driver loses control.
Right now at 5:30, a catastrophic crash shutting down busy US 1 in Coral Gables early this morning.
Detectives discovered this car some 24 hours after a bicyclist was struck and left to die in the westbound lanes of Bird Road just before 3:15 Thursday morning.
In the first 4 months of 2024, there were almost 800 traffic accidents, many involving pedestrians or cyclists. Daniel would be one of 4 people who lost their lives in those first 4 months alone in accidents just like the one Veronica had experienced. One of the officers had been involved in some of those other 800 traffic accidents. That was Officer Garcia of the Coral Gables Traffic Homicide Unit, and he was soon on the scene to try to make sense of this terrible tragedy.
So just a quick question, okay? I'm going to be in charge of the crash report the incident report and the entire traffic homicide report as well, okay? I'm doing all aspects of the investigation. The first thing that I need to do with you is just speak about the accident, okay? It's not a criminal investigation. It's a traffic crash investigation. It's not criminal in nature, okay? Knowing that, I know your attorney's already here. Are you willing to talk to us about the crash itself, just the facts of the crash? Okay, I'll go talk to him right now, okay? And then if not, we can do it with him. I don't mind doing it. I just wanted to get that from. Right, just give me a few minutes.
Although Officer Garcia had been assigned to plenty of traffic accidents just like this one, it's not every traffic accident that an attorney arrives on the scene to represent their client before they've said a word to police.
Hello, sir.
Hi, guys.
I'm Officer Garcia. How are you?
David, welcome.
Are you representing the driver? Okay.
How's she doing?
She's a little distraught. It's understandable.
Yeah.
I need to speak to her about the crash itself. Okay, that is not a criminal matter. It's not a criminal investigation. I asked her if she was willing to speak to me without you there, just for the crash, and she said that she wanted for you to be present. Okay, that's perfectly fine. I don't mind doing that. What I'm saying is the interview that I'm going to do now is only about the crash. Okay, so I want to know if
we're in agreement that's protected and it can't be used against her if in the event you decide, which hopefully you won't, that it's a criminal investigation.
Correct. You know,
and we'll agree to that. And
driver's privilege at crash, right? So I want to find the. She doesn't. I don't.
22.
Fucking scooters. You gotta outlaw. You gotta outlaw those all the time. How many times are you driving and all of a sudden you like almost kill somebody?
We do traffic homicide. We see it all the time.
And they're like bugs. You treat them like bugs.
With her legal representative by her side, Veronica was ready to face Officer Garcia and give him her version of events from earlier that morning and how she didn't realize what was happening until it was too late.
Can you please tell me where you're coming from?
I stopped at the light right there. I was the first car at the light of the June.
On Altara?
And Altara.
So you were facing in this
facing
direction,
Coral Gables,
westbound?
Yes.
Okay. At a complete stop. So you had a red light. Nobody in front of you. Okay. And then what happened?
The light turned green and it started to go. The cars to my left were stopped. The cars that were facing north were stopped.
So vehicles on the southbound lane, I mean on the northbound lane of Lejeune were stopped?
They were stopped.
Okay.
So I looked to the
But
right.
when you said to the left of you, is that the vehicles on Lejeune or vehicles on Altara?
The vehicles that were stopped at the light on Lejeune.
So the vehicles on the two lanes of Lejeune were at a complete stop?
Yes.
Okay.
So I looked to the right as I was turning to make sure that no cars were coming towards me. And then I hit him. I don't know. I don't know. I don't remember exactly where I was. I know I was facing this way, south, and that's it. And then I pulled to the side.
At what point did you first see him?
I didn't see him.
You never saw him at all?
I never saw him.
So
I never saw
what
him.
alerted you that something was wrong?
Well, first I heard the front of my car, the thump, and then
You heard an impact?
I heard an impact.
Okay.
And then I felt my car like go over something.
Take your time. Take your time.
Veronica recalled that she didn't see Daniel approaching as she was making the left turn and only knew that something was wrong when she felt the movement of him being stuck under the vehicle. She was clearly still distressed from the whole thing, but Officer Garcia had to find out every single detail.
I pulled to the side after I felt the car go over something. And that was it. I got off the car. I ran. There was somebody who had gotten off their car, who I'm assuming was one of the drivers of the cars that were going northbound. He was already on the phone. I ran back to find my phone in my car. I grabbed it, but he was already calling 911. I was screaming at him.
Do you recall if you ever dialed 911 on your phone?
No, because I said, are you on with 911? And he said yes. And then I think I had the phone in my hand. I was trying to dial, but I was running up to the guy, and I think my phone dialed my mother-in-law by accident. She's on my emergency, my favorite calls on the open screen. And that's it.
Okay. Were you wearing a seatbelt at the time of
Yes.
collision? Okay. Did you sustain any injuries during the crash? Did anybody check you out? Did the rescue check you out?
They are.
Okay. And you refused? Okay. Prior to the crash, when you were on the light, were you doing anything inside the vehicle? Were you speaking on your cell phone, looking at the cell phone for any reason?
No.
Just, looking at anything else, any documents?
No.
Okay. Where were you coming from?
I was at the gym.
What gym do you go to?
5040.
5040 is the name of the gym? Okay.
It's on
and heading where?
Home.
Okay. Have you had anything to drink today?
Veronica was adamant that she saw nothing and wasn't distracted by her cell phone or anything else for that matter. After her statement was taken, Officer Garcia moved on to the witnesses, but their version of events told a different story altogether.
All right. Can you please tell me where were you when you saw the crash?
I'm going to give you everything that I know as a fact. I'm not going to speculate too much. I was coming north on Ponce, coming out of here.
On which lane?
On the outer lane.
So on the next to the sidewalk?
Next to the sidewalk.
Okay.
And I pulled up to the stoplight. It was red.
Okay. Were you the first vehicle at the stop bar?
Okay. And just to clarify, you mean Lejeune, right?
I'm sorry, not Ponce, Lejeune.
Lejeune, okay. Okay, got you.
I get this.
It's alright, it's alright.
On Lejeune, we're coming out of here. My son had a doctor's appointment. We're on the outer lane closest to the sidewalk. We're heading north. I stop. I'm right at the crosswalk is right in front of me. And what I saw of the accident was to me it looked like a kid on a scooter crossing on the crosswalk, and simultaneously a black Escalade turning from Altara to Lejeune. She was turning, and then she hit the individual.
You saw the impact?
I saw the impact. Hit him. He kept on going. Ran over him with front tires. I saw his legs twist, his head underneath one of the tires. I saw the scooter getting mangled, and then she proceeded and rolled over him with the rear tires. I think it was just the outer right rear tire, if I'm not mistaken. And then she stopped. I was like yelling, like beeping, like stop, stop, stop. Once the impact hit, I was beeping at her, like stop, stop, stop. Obviously my window was down, it happened so quickly. I put the car in park, opened the door, came out because there was cars coming to stop them.
That was witness number 1, Patrick, who watched the whole thing unfold before his eyes. He claimed that he had to shout at Veronica to get her attention and try to get her to stop, as it appeared she hadn't realized what was happening at the time.
When you were stopped on the northbound outside lane,
yes.
Did you have? There's another lane to your left.
I didn't see a car. It was pretty clear. I saw.
So there was nothing obstructing your view of the incident?
No, because I saw that hit, I saw the front tires, I saw him roll under the car, and I saw the back tires. So I saw so much movement and torsion of the body that it couldn't have been obstructed. My wife didn't see the initial hit, and she was looking down, working or something. She heard me yelling, stop, 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 looked up, and I think then she just saw the vehicle. I don't think she was able to see anything from her vantage point.
Okay.
But I have my side window, I have the front window and side window, so I was able to see much more.
Do you recall seeing the pedestrian crosswalk, the sign?
No. I would love to say it was green or red. No.
But you don't recall?
No. I don't recall the color. I know that I had a red.
Is there any other information that you might think is important that I haven't asked you about?
I think hitting somebody that's 100 and something pounds in a metal scooter and having initial contact, not stopping and keep on going and going over with the front tires on a long vehicle, and then reaching to hit them with the back tires and then still continuing a little bit. To me, that is somebody that wasn't paying attention. She came out of the car. I did see the person that was driving the vehicle, and she was completely didn't know what had happened.
In the car was Patrick with a second witness who was also his wife, Sasha, and even though she was in the passenger seat, she knew something terrible had just happened.
We have conducting an interview for case number 2400-1610. Can you please tell me from your point of view what happened?
Yeah, so from my point of view, I was in the car. I was on the passenger side. My husband was driving. My husband yells. So I get yelled. From what I saw, there was a black Cadillac Escalade turning. There was something under it. Looked like a body. And she just kept going until she got to about here. Runs over it twice, and then she kind of went a little bit further, and then he was. By then, my husband had already stopped the car and had like hopped out.
So you were sitting inside your vehicle, correct?
Yeah.
Were you sitting? Where were you sitting specifically
passenger
inside?
side.
From passenger?
Yeah, from passenger.
And your vehicle was at a complete stop?
Yeah, we were stopped at we had a red light.
Okay. Do you remember what lane you were on?
Yeah, we were in the lane closest to the right.
So the sidewalk is right next to your right-hand side?
The sidewalk is right next to
And you have another lane to the left?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recall if there was any other vehicles between your vehicle and the Escalade as it was making the left turn?
I believe there was. I believe there was another one, yeah.
Did you see the initial impact?
I did not see the initial impact.
What is the first thing that you recall seeing?
The dying Escalade. The first thing I saw was the black Escalade.
So you saw it as it was going in front of you? As if it's going in front of you?
It was like there, my car. So like more so on my husband's side.
But did you see the black Escalade before impact or after impact?
After impact.
Okay. So you first noticed the Escalade after the impact took place?
Yeah.
And what was the first thing that you remember as you saw the Escalade?
The first thing I saw was the Escalade and then my husband yelling, oh my God, and then you saw something underneath it.
Sasha also alleged that Daniel had been dragged under both the front and back tires of the Cadillac Escalade before the vehicle came to a stop, which had left him with devastating injuries that would eventually take his life.
Okay. Did your husband yelling alert you to look up and look in that direction?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think he was also trying to honk, but I don't think he was quite getting that out. He was like, oh my God, she's hitting someone. And then that's when I noticed.
Did you exit the vehicle at any point?
I did.
Okay.
I did, because my husband exited and ran out, and so we're in the right lane. I was like, oh my God, do I go out and help him? But we also had my child in the car, so I knew I couldn't just, exit and leave. I didn't want to leave the car right on the June, so I actually turned it right. There was a car in that meter, so I parked right behind it.
And you remained with your child in the vehicle?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Can you recall any information that you can think of that might be able to assist us? Did you see any other witnesses or?
There was definitely other people on the sidewalk with my husband. You just saw I called 911 also.
Okay.
As I was getting out, I quickly called 911. She told me that she thought there was other vehicles already on the way, and I said, please hurry, because it looked like there was a lot of blood already pooling around him. So I told her, please hurry, because it didn't look good. And she told me, I think there's already vehicles on the way. And you saw him, he wasn't really moving at all. Right in the middle. And then my husband was already there at that point. And he just didn't look like he was moving.
Thank you for staying, and thank you for helping out with your statement. I really appreciate it, okay?
But there was much more to this case than Veronica was letting on to investigators, and there was vital information she neglected to tell the police at the scene. Not only was she driving without any insurance, she hadn't renewed her driver's license since 2020, meaning she had been driving illegally for years. Veronica de la Vega was charged with failure to use care, a traffic violation, and second-degree misdemeanor of driving with an expired license. Her case went to court in January of 2025, where she pled no contest. That would mean Veronica neither admitted nor denied guilt, but accepted the incident took place. She was facing possible jail time, maybe even 2 months or so behind bars, unless her lawyer could convince the court that the accident was unavoidable and nothing more than a tragic accident that Veronica had been involved in. But Daniel's parents were seeking justice, and they believed Veronica should be held accountable for the events of March the 4th, 2024. But the verdict that was read out on Thursday, the 9th of January, caused outrage for the community of Coral Gables. Veronica de la Vega was found guilty and sentenced to 6 months probation and 500 hours of community service. She managed to escape the maximum sentence of 60 days in jail, and Daniel's mother, Susan, wasn't shy about voicing her opinions on the verdict when she spoke to the press and asked them, how could a lawyer, a mother, a community member drive knowingly with an expired license and not be carefully watching the road in front of her? Several weeks after the verdict, new surveillance video was released that showed the accident in full and prompted Daniel's parents to consider taking further action against Veronica de la Vega. Ironically, Veronica renewed her license only days after the accident. Residents of Coral Gables are still fighting for safer roads for pedestrians and cyclists in the hope that they can avoid another incident like the events of March 4th, 2024.